What's up, YouTube? So, shaved my head, joined the cult, Miata cult. So yeah, one of the main problems this vehicle had when I recently purchased it, the bright lights won't stay activated. So I have the combination switch here, and there's a write-up online and in the factory service manual. But basically the issue here, you flip the bright lights on by pushing it forward and the lights cut off. However, the bright lights do come on if you pull back on the switch. Of course, you can't leave them activated. So I will show you how to get this switch off and fix the contacts in here if that's the issue. Alright guys, Dave Disney actually has an excellent write-up on this. The link will be in the description. But first step, obviously, disconnect the negative battery terminal. I just have some 10mm screws to remove from back here behind the steering wheel. There's 4 of those holding the airbag on. And once you get those 4 screws off, you can pull out the airbag. Just like, you know, don't be like right in front of it. I mean, just in case it were to like go off or something. You know, it's like a shotgun, so you don't want it pointed like right at you. And you don't want it like sitting on a surface either. Disconnect that. There we go. Disconnect that. And there's just the where it's like roped on. Like a fucking shoestring or some shit. Oh, fuck you, shoestring. Fuck you. So, just lay it down in the corner. Facing up. According to the factory service manual, the torque in foot-pounds of the steering wheel nut is 29 to 36 foot-pounds. So, I'll probably just go somewhere in between there. Like 32 foot-pounds, something like that. And the size is simply a 21mm, the same size as your lug nut. Just remember to mark the position of the nut to make sure everything lines up exactly the same when you go to put it back on. Using a Sharpie to do that now. Splines, you just have to line up the splines. So that's actually pretty easy to do. Without further ado, we will try and remove it. Now, hopefully I'll be able to pull it off. Otherwise I might have to go and get a puller. I don't think I have a puller on me right now. I don't know if I need a bar quite this big. But here goes. That was easy enough with a breaker bar. And now we have that off. That's our nut. Back in the metal tray. Point the steering wheel pulls off. Might not be a bad idea to have a puller here. And it is on there. Oh shit. Well, never mind. Pulled it off. And that is how you pull it off. Yeah, like I said, there's little splines in there like on your axle, so you just have to line it up and splines will do the rest of the work. As long as you haven't lined up to the same spline, as long as you're at least somewhat correct, it'll go on as straight as it was before. So no problems there. Alrighty. Now we can take off these screws and get to our combination switch. And there's a bunch of instructions here on the clock spring that you have to follow. And I'm honestly I don't really know anything about this. This is the first time I'm dealing with an airbag. Just wish I could see what I was doing. So you just want to take the 2 screws out of the center console here. And okay. Alright guys, there's one other screw way up there. I think you have to reach all the way up in here to get to the screw up here to take that apart. My bad. I didn't realize you had to do that. And now we've made it to the combination switch. Well, there's that thing. I like how most of this can be done with a screwdriver. Although when I got the car, it looks like there's more damage here than I thought to the console. That's the Florida sun for you. Still don't understand these clock spring instructions. I guess for installation, you just have to rotate it. That's how it was when it came off. That's how it should be. Little screws for this, or at least 3 little short screws here. Yeah, just be sure to hang on to all of these. And now that you have this off, what you're trying to get to is right under this black piece here. So what you need to do you need to take off these 4 screws. So you're going to have to thread this out of the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then prying, there's 4 little black clips. One there, one there, one there, and I think there's one more. Maybe it's just 3. But anyway, you just pry those out, the whole thing pops out, and then you can pry right there. Kind of get a little screwdriver in there to pry this whole thing upward over these other little clips, these little red clips. And that'll get you to the metal contacts just under this gray cover. So now that you have the screws out, you can begin prying. And so there's one like right in here. You just have to lift up on this red part and pry the black part at the same time. So pry the pry the little black piece. I don't know if you can see that. This one is the version without cruise control, and according to the factory service manual, the A package and the R package did not have cruise control. The B package and C package did have cruise control. So there's that little tidbit. There we go, and it's off. No damage done. Now this off, we can clearly look at the switch. I want to see what this looks like. So is this the reason we don't have bright lights? I certainly hope it is. And there's several contacts here. Time to just start wiping these things with sandpaper. Alright guys, so I have some 1500 grit sandpaper here. And what you want to do, clean all the contacts. And apparently there's 4 contacts. There's 8 little surfaces you have to clean. So each one of these you just want to get in there and just start sanding it down so it's nice and clean. Good old 1500 grit. Yeah, once again, depending on how hard you press the button on the bottom here, it's gonna change the orientation of all these contacts and cause different contacts to touch each other or not touch each other, just depending on how hard you press that button. So yeah, just keep hitting this, look at the contacts, and you're gonna have to press it in order to get to all of the contacts. The ones down here, you have to leave it unpressed, and I just folded up a couple of times a little strip of the 1500 grit sandpaper, and hopefully I can get to it that way. And you can also press the button to add some tension so you can rub it a little harder. Yeah, just keep at it and it'll be nice and clean. Yeah, I like folding it over so it's double-sided and just moving it back and forth with tension. That way you're cleaning both contacts at the same time. Just quicker that way. Guys, and the last step before reassembling, I'm just going to add some dielectric grease, just a little bit to the contacts, just to maybe prevent the arcing in the future. But I'm just grabbing a straw from some electronic parts cleaner or whatnot, but I'm just going to dab this stuff in there and, you know, hope the same issue doesn't arise, and if it does, it'll take longer. That's my hope anyway. As soon as I put these screws in, I'm going to test it and make sure the brights actually work. Alright, battery's connected for the moment. Let me put the key in, and let's test this thing out. Turning the key, have that off, lights, and nothing. Alright guys, on closer inspection, it actually looks like I forgot to clean one of the contacts. As you can see, if I turn them on, we have bright lights now. That's exactly how it should be. And the one that I forgot to clean, if you look in here, you see that one right there, you see where this is coming in contact. Yeah, this is coming in contact with the layer below it. Well, spread that up and you gotta clean in there. That's the one I forgot to clean, and that is our main culprit. All you've got to do, spread this little thing upward, slide in some sandpaper, and start sanding. And bam, you have bright lights again. It's as easy as that. To make a long story short, that's all you really have to do. Yeah, this contact, it's always touching, and build up quite a layer of carbon because it's always touching. So definitely be sure to sneak some dielectric grease in there. This middle piece, directly where my finger is, there's a contact point. There's one, you can probably just barely see it, but as you press the button underneath, it comes in contact with this piece about right here, bottom side. So those are 2 points. Then you have right here 3, 4 points. You have right here 5, 6 points. If you look down in there, you have a couple of points where you have to just get some really thin sandpaper and shove it down through there. So that's 6 points of contact. And your last points of contact are the ones I just showed you, where you have to spread this up and clean in there, and that's point 7 and 8. So yeah, those are your 8 points of contact. Just clean them, put some dielectric grease on, and you should be good to go. And just test and verify that it works. Lights are on, and brights are on. So that's all you have to do. Clean the contacts, put some dielectric grease on, and be amazed. You have restored functionality. Alright guys, now before you put the steering wheel back on, and like the cover here, you have to make sure the clock spring's aligned. I mean, I didn't really move mine, so as long as it's facing up, like, you're good. But I mean, if you have any doubt, and if you turned it 1 revolution, then you should definitely follow these instructions. Otherwise, when you turn the wheel to wheel lock, you're gonna break something. So basically it says turn it all the way, yeah, it says turn it clockwise till it locks, then back off 2 3/4 turn. Alright, so the clock spring, you just want to turn clockwise until you have it lock into place, and it should go 2 3/4 of a turn if you're centered. So just to make sure you're centered, otherwise you're going to break it. So I mean, it just pays to follow the instructions here. So turning it, and it just went 2 3/4 turns. So I mean, mine was centered. So basically, yeah, you turn it clockwise to it doesn't turn anymore. You know, you don't force it, and then just back it off 3/4 of a turn, 1, 2, and it's centered, and you just want it like that when you put the wheel on. Simple. And you can go back to, you know, covering it up, and you know, you just want it facing up when you put the wheel on. Simple. Connect the battery again before you mess with the airbag. You really don't want that flipping up on you. And when you're ready to put the steering wheel back on, you have all this stuff secure. All you have to do is just stick this thing through here, and as long as the clock springs up and down, you just keep the steering wheel centered, slide it on, and the splines will keep it perfectly aligned for you. And you want to torque the lock nut. And there's a lock nut. And go grab the torque wrench. Alright, and I just set my 1/2 inch drive torque wrench to 33 foot-pounds. And just torque it that way. And you kind of do have to have a bit of an extension here to reach down into the steering wheel. Yeah, you put one hand on the wheel and just tighten it. Spline's on there, it's not going to move, so no worries. Just tighten it until it clicks. Bam, done. Just throw back on the airbag and 4 little 10mm nuts and good to go. Now that you have everything back together, just reconnect the negative battery terminal. Turn on the lights. Lights work. Brights work. Before, when I flipped the brights on, the lights would actually cut off, which that might be worse than not having brights. So that works, that works, that works. So that's good. And now that we've finished that, let's replace the headlights. Now that we have bright lights, let's actually put on bright lights. So, ML are a couple of these truck lights. So, let's throw them in and see what the Miata looks like. See the differences at night. These come with a anti-corrosive compound that I guess you can put on the pigtail or whatnot. It's quite a bit heavier than the stock one. Approximately the same size. This one is a little longer, I'm gonna say. LED is considerably heavier. It's so much clearer. So, yeah, this one's your adjuster. So all you really have to do is just unscrew the 3 screws on this metal ring, which is what holds your headlight in on the Miata. And this wire's kind of long as opposed to the stock one that comes right out of the bulb. So I'm going to figure out how to tuck this so it doesn't rub when the pop-ups go up or down. So yeah, if you don't know this already, it's just 2 screws on each side. Pop this cover off. And then you have 3 screws holding this little bracket on. Don't mess with the screw, it's the adjuster. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much simpler. And you don't have to pull out the screws, just loosen them enough to slide the ring. Alright, there you have it, guys. Yeah, I think I can live with that. Alright guys, this is the difference. These lights are nice and bright. You can even run them with the car off. They're LEDs. Does not even care. I don't know if I really have them properly adjusted, but thought to go ride around and test them out. And they're looking pretty decent as it is. Not perfect.